So I want to talk next. 2 out of 3 home buyers don't shop around for a mortgage. That's insane to me.
It blows my mind.
I
hate when people shop me, but every consumer should do it.
But if more people shop the other lenders, they'd be coming to you because
Exactly.
you match your beat and do a better job.
I mean, you and I have talked about it. I've sent some higher-end clients your way who didn't shop around
Right.
for a mortgage, which is, really, I would think, gosh, it's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, if you get a good rate and fees and you get a good feel for your lender, okay, it makes sense to stay. But the reality is there's a lot of mortgage companies out there that don't offer the best fees or the best experience. We all know that there are lenders out there that will promise you the best rates and fees, but then they don't deliver and they don't get you to the closing table. So it's not just about the fees and costs, because the fees and costs, if you close, are zero. If you don't close, are zero because you didn't get the house you wanted because they didn't get the job done. So ultimately, some people nitpick over the fees, but probably what's just as important is the ability to execute.
Right, and one thing we talk about a lot too, when in regards to interest rate, just because you're getting the lowest rate, and it goes back to what you just said, doesn't mean you're getting the best deal.
No, look at those closing costs, baby.
Exactly.
There's going to be some stuff factored in. You see some TV commercials all the time about,
Right.
we're going to pay your closing costs. We're going to, look, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's coming from somewhere.
Right.
It's getting factored in somewhere. Whether it's, you have to work with such and such agent, or whether you've got to, use this company or that company, or you've got to pay more closing costs. There's always details.
There's normally a catch there somewhere.
Yeah. And interestingly though, the fact that people don't shop the mortgage, probably in some instances has them leaving money on the table, because if they, competition is what you want to happen.
Right. That better fees, lower rates. You talked about closing on time too. Let's just say, for instance, you're supposed to be closing in 30 days. Your lender locks your rate for 30 days. If it doesn't close on time, guess what? The seller, of course, does have the chance to cancel. It normally doesn't happen, but can. But you're probably going to be paying additional money to extend your rate lock. So there's a lot of stuff that factors into that.
So Yates, I'm gonna let you get a little humble brag here. What's your average closing time?
I've never actually broke down mine personally. I know Atlantic Bays is a shade under 28 days, which is
and what's
phenomenal.
the quickest you've closed a loan before?
10 days.
See, that's incredible.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm not.
I didn't know that.
I need like a cowbell,
Right.
because 10 days. And the reality is it can happen, but the buyer has to have their ducks in a row.
Oh yeah. There a lot of pieces have to fall into place for those quick closings.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never actually done an average for myself, but if I did, I'd be willing to bet it falls somewhere around the 25-day range.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the reality is that we see it happen so often where that's not the case, where we're stuck for 40 and 50 and 60 days waiting for a lender to do their thing.
I mean, sometimes, especially a couple of years ago, it seemed there's lenders that just couldn't close anything because they couldn't get out of their own way. I mean, it can be really bad, which is one of the reasons why we partner with some great lenders. I mean, Mike's fantastic. It's just, it's crazy how much the lender can mess up the process.
And on top of that, not just messing up the process from a standpoint of not getting things done, but the mistakes.
Right.
Their mistakes. When you get a CDS and there's stuff that's wrong all over the place on their side of things, and the sloppiness. And here's what I'll tell you: there are a lot of big banks out there that years and years and years ago kind of controlled the mortgage space. And as things changed, they didn't really shift with it. When all the legal changes came, when all the federal changes came to the closing disclosure statement, all that, they didn't quite figure that out and weren't nimble enough to kind of recover. And a lot of those have lost major market share because they're just not set up. What I would tell you is, if you're thinking about getting mortgage in Tampa Bay, first call Atlantic Bay, Mike Yates. That's just a given. But second, if you're going to be stupid and not call Mike Yates and Atlantic Bay Mortgage, then make sure you go to a true mortgage focused company. If you're calling a company that does a million different things and mortgage is one of their lines of business, good luck. Realistically, good luck. Go to somebody that is what they do and that's all they do.
A common one that I hear, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too, is, well, I bank at such and such, so I'm going to go there because they know me and that's where I bank.
they
Guess
don't
what?
know
They
you.
don't have a clue
No, they
who you
don't.
are.
This
No.
is not 1960.
Right.
Exactly.
They don't know you.
Yeah, you're not like
Exactly. No
walking
clue.
in and counting pennies.
Right,
with them
you're
on a
an
Thursday.
account number for them.
Yeah.
You're not a name or a face.
Agree,
Right.
agree, and you know, so you're right in a lot of ways that the whole they know me. They can know you all they want, but they don't have the ability to execute and get the loan closed because they don't have the right systems and processes and staffing. That's
Exactly.
another thing that I see that the right mortgage companies stay properly staffed.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
the-
That's
all throughout the year.
A lot of times at some of the, we pick on bigger banks a lot, and unfortunately they're the ones that tend to be the issue with mortgages. But they might have a really good loan officer, but their back end process might be slowing it down. The
Correct.
underwriting, the process. Whereas, like Atlantic Bay, for instance, on average we run 2.5 to 3 ops staff personnel to salespeople. So, we have it figured out that closing on time and getting everything done on the back end is where you save your time.
Well, and it's a value that we share. I mean, in the real estate industry, the typical real estate company, real estate brokerages today have moved to a model where they're almost all about agent count. As many agents as they can and hope and pray that some of them produce. And the ones that don't produce, they get a little bit of monthly fees out of them and pay the bills with them. So, so you look at a real estate company that has 200 agents and they might have 1 or 2 administrative people. In our company, we've got maybe 30-something real estate agents and almost 15 staff members because we know the importance of the details, and salespeople aren't always great at those things. So you got to have the back part, you can have all the greatest salespeople in the world, but if you don't have the ability to execute with the right people operationally, then it really doesn't matter. So that's something we share in common with Atlantic Bay is, staying, heavy on the admin side so that you can service the customers and respond more quickly.
Yeah, it just makes the whole process run more smooth and efficient when you do it that